Hi everyone, welcome to the Manchester Department of Justice Mini Film Festival. Good to see so many people here on what looks like a sort of fairly bright afternoon actually here in Derbyshire. Hope the weather's okay where you all are. So I'm Kevin Wong and I'm part of the festival team who put together this event. So I'm just going to give a very brief introduction. Then in a moment, I'm going to hand over to Fiona Curran from Koestler Arts, who's going to talk a little bit about the Arts Awards. And then we'll show our first movie. And we'll have a kind of Q&A after that. And then we'll repeat the same process for the other 3 films that we're showing. So a couple of things to bear in mind. First of all, if you want to communicate, then by all means comment and ask questions during the Q&A session using the chat function, which you can find this little chat button on the bottom of your screen. The films are in fact mini films, so it's a mini film festival and they are mini films, so they are quite short. They're about 2 minutes or at most 3 minutes long. So you'll probably kind of need to get into them quite quickly and focus, otherwise they'll be gone in a flash. I'm just checking anything else I need to sort of mention before I start. Just to say actually that, as I said, it's great to have so many people joining. And for me, it feels like an occasion because it's the first time I've actually worn a formal shirt and jacket in about 5 months. So anyway, okay, so let me hand over to Fiona, who can just talk a little bit about Koestler Arts and the Arts Awards and how the whole process of the awards goes on. Fiona.
Okay, thanks very much, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks for giving us this opportunity and thanks for coming. Okay, I'm Fiona. I am the Director of Arts at Koestler Arts. We're a UK-wide prison arts charity. We aim to get people in the criminal justice system, that's prisons, forensic hospitals, people on probation, in youth offending teams, to participate in the arts and to get the benefits that many of us get from taking part in the arts. And we also aim to share as much of that great work as we can with the public. So we do this through exhibitions, awards. The Cresswell Awards are an anchor in our yearly programme. We give feedback to entrants. We rope lots and lots and lots of professionals into judging the awards, giving feedback. We exhibit as many works as we can in different ways. So we, at the moment, exhibit work from across the UK in London every year, and we also try and get outside to all the different other parts of the UK. We do exhibitions in Scotland. We've done several in Manchester, Liverpool, Gateshead, and actually, fingers crossed, in this year we'll be in London, Sheffield and Manchester. That's up until spring 21. And we get a huge range of work entered into the Cresswell Awards. We actually get 7,500 entries every year from across the criminal justice system in the UK. And many of the short films that you'll see today are actually, well, the three of them are all animations. 2 of these short films were entered into our animation category, in fact, and we've had lots of different judges over the years. And when we try to make this work seen, we usually will screen selected works in our exhibition, and that's usually selected completely separately from the award winners. I think all the pieces today actually did very well in our awards, and then also spoke to our curators. So that's the kind of overview of Koestler. I can, if you want to get in touch with Koestler, if you want to ask me specific questions about all the 52 categories that we represent and all the different places that we hope to be or we have been, just drop us a line. Our website is easy to find, our email contact details on our website. So the first film, because I'm very conscious that I'm all that stands between everyone seeing these lovely films. the first animation, it started from here. I remember a lot from our 2015 Curesswell Awards, because I think that I actually selected this piece for our exhibition. So it was very exciting to see it again, to be reunited with this lovely film. The judge, this was actually, so it started from here, was entered into our themed category, and the theme that year was journey. So it wasn't in the animation category, I don't think. And it was up against poems, pieces of music, paintings, drawings, any type of creative work in response to the word journey. So I thought, even thinking about it now, it started from here is the most beautiful title for a piece, and it's a really, really strong work. And the judge of the category that year, which was Charles Darwin, an art critic, he said in his feedback that the artist made it look simple, but he knew that it hadn't been. So it's a really beautiful piece. The second piece, I also remember pretty well. It was curated by the exhibition in 2015, for which this piece was selected for, was curated by Benjamin Zephaniah. And I think, thinking about Benjamin's music and his poetry, I think you can really see why it spoke to him. So absolutely beautifully technically drawn, almost like a piece of performance art or a music video. And Roger Grafe was the judge that year, the documentary filmmaker, and he gave it a commended award. So it did really, really well, and it was, yeah, Benjamin and Roger both gave it their seal of approval that year. So it was amazing. And the oldest piece that you're going to see today, which took me down memory lane, I remember it so well. This one was selected for South Bank exhibition by the musician Speech to Bell. Bad Robot is extremely quirky and fun, and Kevin said you have to pay attention to Bad Robot. It's got quite the narrative, and it's over in a blink of an eye. And it got a silver award, and the judge that year in 2013 was Tim Shore, who at the time taught animation at the University of Derby, and it's brilliant fun. So the three pieces are very, very different, and they do kind of represent just the unbelievable kind of range of work that we get at Koestler. I think that a couple of them are they're very. I find Bad Robot great fun, really kind of just a really great kind of piece that I think everyone will engage with. And the other two pieces I do find very moving, and very honest and really beautiful works of art, as animations, as music videos, pieces of performance. So yeah, I hope you enjoy them. And that's more than 5 minutes, so I'm going to hand back to Kevin. Thank you.
Great. Okay, thanks so much, Fiona. Just to say, to remind people that one of the things that would be great if people could do is to, after today, we'll be sending out a survey, a questionnaire to everyone who's attended. And if you can provide some feedback about the pieces you've seen, that would be great. We'll collate those and pass them back to Fiona and Koestler, and also to Eric, Jonathan, and Kenson at the secure units, the secure institution, just so that they've got them there. Okay. And I have to say, actually, we've very recently here at the Policy Evaluation Research Unit here at Manchester Metropolitan University, we very recently completed an evaluation of the Koestler Arts Awards, which was commissioned by Koestler. And one of the things that came over really strongly, I think, from the interviews we did with prisoners in 5 prisons where we interviewed them, was that they very much valued that feedback that they got from audiences, and also the feedback from judges. So feedback from the public would be great. So I'm going to ask Lucy, who's very kindly offered to help out with our technical support today, to cue in the first. Actually, I'm jumping ahead of this. I need to ask Jonathan from the Rampton Hospital, Jonathan, to talk a little bit about the film and also about perhaps if you can, without obviously breaking sort of confidentiality, about the patient who created the piece of work. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It's 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the education department was very different then. We did a lot of traditional sessions, music, art, separating a lot of the different subjects. And Toni, I remember her quite well. She involved herself in the department quite a lot: animation, music, art, her own recovery journey. Very early days of recovery college then. And she just embraced it and said, look, I've got this idea, can we do it? And we were like, yeah, we'll give it a go. Originally it was a flip book, so all the drawings were done on A4 paper, and we were going to simply video it with somebody flipping the pages to obviously make the animation work. And there was some investigation in terms of, is there another way we could do this, to make it a little bit more, smarter. And the colleague of mine who ran the IT department at the time found a program that we could use, and that involved scanning all the images, which took considerable time, on a standard scanner we had then. Then they were put into this software, and you could obviously vary the speed and have different effects and so forth. And it was done sort of very neatly, really, over a period of 3 or 4 weeks, I can remember. Attending the department 3 times possibly a week, focusing very much on the task and tweaking it and changing it, and the film is very much about her journey and through the system of mental health, and in some ways it was her own recovery journey, being part of that and allowing her to do that and work through it. And as I said, she had many different strings to her bow, music, and I think that there could have been more put into it had there been more time. But she was very happy with the result. We were. I encouraged it, and yeah, you'll see the result.
That's great. Thanks, Jonathan. So, Lucy, if you could play the film, and then afterwards we'll return back to Jonathan for Q&A. Thank you. Okay, right. So I guess I'm just checking for timings or whatever else. But anyway, so Jonathan, do you want to say anything more about the piece? If people have got questions they'd like to ask Jonathan, then please just type them in on the group chat. And I just wondered, actually, as a first question for me, really. I mean, what was really interesting was about the music seemed to sort of chime really well with the piece. Actually, I just wondered how was it Toni kind of put the music together as well?
Yeah. If I remember rightly, it was using the Magix program, which was early days. Then it was a more basic program than what we've got now.
Right. Okay.
It was just to try and fit something, and timing wise, and to not get in the way of the animation and the story and whatever, but just to carry it, I think. And as I say, she was quite in tune with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And very much she led it herself.
Yeah.
Very little input from staff, really.
So we have got some sort of some great comments on the group chat. I think Sharon and Sarah talking about being quite emotive, Jonathan, but also someone's asking how's Toni doing now? I think am I right that Toni has left Rampton? Right?
Yeah. She left a few years ago. She's in low secure, because we're high secure. We have medium secure and low secure, and she's in a low secure unit now. Right. And obviously I had to correspond with the low secure unit to say about this, and they were great, and they told her, she was very pleased.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. And I'm just wondering, because we are kind of recording this, so hopefully there'll be an opportunity if we make the link available. And I think
for her to see it, I think. Yeah. She would appreciate that. Yeah.
And also, obviously, because I wasn't quite aware when we spoke previously about this piece, that Toni was actually in the low secure part of the hospital, because I thought she might have left. So basically, any feedback that people kind of give after today, we can obviously then hopefully that can be passed to her.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a question here, which is someone saying, is Toni well now, still being creative? I don't know if you're able to.
What I know, yes, and has broadened in other other areas. I think animal husbandry and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
And I think she's got responsibilities around certain parts of how the hospital operate.
Sure. Okay.
Basically, more freedoms, more experiences, positive experiences.
Yeah, and I think we get some really encouraging sort of comments on that. It's great to hear from Lorraine that Toni's doing well, and great. Okay, so so if people got any further comments and questions, whatever, please add them onto the group chat, and maybe Jonathan can respond to them via the group chat. But if we timing wise, if we'd like to just move on now to the next piece, which is freedom. And before that, we're going to play a recording from Kenson Lowe, who works at the Occupational Therapy Department at Dewnans Centre and the Langdon Hospital. As I said before, when I spoke with Kenson about this, he and the patient didn't want to appear live, but they were quite happy to provide a recording. So we've got a recording as an intro from Kenson about the Langdon Hospital, and then we'll show the film, and then after that we've got for the Q&A part of it. Kenson did do a kind of Q&A with Nick, the patient, and also with his colleague Matt Smith, who's the technical instructor who I think helped out with the music.
Hi, I'm Kenson. I work at Langdon Hospital, which is a secure mental health hospital down here in Devon. I'm a technical instructor for arts and animation, and run arts and animation sessions for the patients here. I work within the engagement and involvement team, which in turn is part of the Occupational Therapy Department. So I work with the other TIs together with the occupational therapists, and run a variety of sessions. We have music, art, horticulture, workshop and education here, and the sessions are partly for therapeutic use, partly for vocational skills, I think personally also for quality of life. So animation is one of the activities that I help provide, and I just find it's a very good tool for various reasons. There's so many skills that can be involved in it. There's technical skills, creative skills. It's great for trying to think about communication when you're telling a story. So it's very kind of interactive, and it's a great way of creating a project in which more than one person can work together, so you get that kind of coordination and team building involvement. And yeah, I just think filmmaking as a tool, therapeutic tool or activity is very valuable. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the film, which actually was a combination. It was initially a music project, or a sound art project that Nick, the patient, decided would quite like to then develop further into a visual piece as well. So it involved both the music tech and myself, and it was actually quite nice to join two areas together. So I hope you enjoy the film.
Freedom I need for me, like the birds in the sky, soaring up high, as free as the tide.
And we're back again. So that was Freedom by Nick from the Langdon Hospital. So we've got a Q&A interview between Nick, the patient who produced the work, Kenson Lowe, and also I think Matt Smith, who are the two instructors there at the Langdon. If you've got any comments that you'd like to make about the film, then please just put them on the group chat, and I can read them out after we've had the recorded Q&A. I mean, when I was watching it, and I've seen it a couple of times, and you kind of notice additional detail each time you watch it. And I think the previous times I'd watched it, I hadn't quite noticed the flag on the boat that was kind of waving quite slowly, as if the wind was kind of catching it, which looked quite beautiful, I have to say. So I'm going to see if I've got the Langdon interview. I'm going to click on that. I mean, Lucy's hopefully stuck the link in the group chat in a private chat for me. So I'm going to try and click on that and see if we can get it to work. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay.
Hi there. I'm Ken, the art technician here at Langdon Hospital, and I'm here to talk with Nick about the project we did together with Matt Smith, who's the music technician. This is Nick, by the way.
Hi, I'm Nick.
So, Nick, the film Freedom, it actually started out as a music sound project, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I was I'd been in hospital a while, and I was wanting to express how I felt about my freedom. So I had a music session which enabled me to do that. So I knew that there was Koestler coming up, and that I had an opportunity to enter a piece. So I chose the project Freedom.
Yeah. Was that theme a Koestler theme, or was it the one that you decided? I can't remember.
I'm not actually too sure.
Yeah.
I think it was one we chose.
Yeah, yeah. So you worked with Matt initially on doing the, I don't know if you called it a music piece or a sound piece, really, wasn't it?
He likes to refer to them as sound art.
Yeah.
Written word.
Yeah. So you worked on the lyrics and then the source of the sounds and sort of produced it.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Well, do you know what the software for that was you used?
I know we used an Apple Mac, but I can't remember the name of the software.
Yeah. Okay. So
very clever software.
Yeah, yeah. So completing that, you had already done some filmmaking and animation with me, and then I think I can't remember if it was your idea that we kind of put the music, the sound piece to some film.
Yeah, we'd done that, as you say, we'd done animation before, and I'd done the work, and there was time before I had to go into the Koestler, so I asked if I could do some artwork with it.
That's right, yeah.
And animation.
Yeah. So how long did the project take?
I think all in all it was around about 16 weeks. I think it was probably 8 or 9 weeks during the music, and then about 7 or 8 weeks for the actual animation.
Yeah. And did you enjoy the process?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah. So let me just think what else I've got here. So the film, actually, we did send it off to enter it in the Koestler Awards, and it did win.
Yeah.
Shout our own praises here. So.
Yeah, I got a patent for it and was able to go to London to see it being shown. So
so it was selected for the Koestler Awards exhibition in the South Bank Centre, which you went and...
Yeah, I went with Matt, the music teacher, and my family, and I had a really nice time.
Yeah. I'll just say, is there anything else I have to ask you?
I would like to just say thank you to the university for giving me the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah. And it's going to be quite exciting. I don't know if this is going to be played before or after we've watched it, but we are going to try and sit and view it all.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyment making it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Nick.
You're welcome.
Oh, great. So thanks to Nick and to Kenson. So originally, I think our plan when we were trying to run this event, Lucy and I, we were planning to stream the event via YouTube, the university's YouTube channel. But unfortunately, the technology kind of failed us. So we're doing it as a kind of sort of large Zoom meeting. And because of the security at the Langdon, they're not able to access Zoom. So Nick and Kenson aren't able to join us, unfortunately. But we are recording it. So we'll make that available to Nick and Kenson after today. I just wonder, I don't know if anyone's got any comments about freedom they'd like to make now, or if you'd like to sort of send it through or make your feedback via the questionnaire that we'll send through in the next day or so. I'm looking at the group chat and I can't see anything unless it's just me and I'm kind of not working. Oh, great! We got a comment from Sharon saying it's a great film. Someone else saying love the music, and hadn't realised that was Nick's work too. Yeah, I think both Nick and said, I think he said that he actually produced it as a piece of music first, and then afterwards they kind of put the images to it. I think you do hear Nick's voice on the piece as well for the recording of the music. And someone saying, great, reminding me of Viktor Frank, freedom is in the mind. I think, in fact, I'm right in saying that obviously some of you may know a bit more about Koestler. I mean, perhaps if we've got time later on, Fiona can come in again. But of course, the Koestler Arts was founded by Arthur Koestler, the writer, and I think he did spend some time in prison where writing was his way of escaping or kind of, you know, getting out of the prison and incarceration. I think Gavin's saying reminded me of an 80s music video, but can't remember which. I guess that's showing your age, Gavin. But anyway, in terms of how Nick's doing, I don't know. Well, he seems to be doing okay actually. You know, he was on the piece. Perhaps we can find out anyway, and perhaps make that available or let people know about that. I think Ashley's saying, was it not a take on me? Oh, sorry, was it not Take On Me by Aha? Actually, sadly, I do know that piece, but I can't remember if that was the music video. So I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention during the 80s when Aha were doing that. Okay, right. Just checking the time. So let's move to our final piece then, and to introduce it. So I think several people are saying yes, Take On Me. So obviously, there's a lot of people here very familiar with the fine work of Aha, clearly. So Eric, I'd like to hand over to you. Do you want to just talk a little bit about Bad Robot before we screen it? Is that okay?
I'll unmute.
Ah, great. We can hear you now. Yeah. That's great. Okay.
Mentioned the weather earlier, and it's starting to clear up here, so it's all right.
Okay.
So yeah, really nice animations there. Very emotive as well. Nice music as well. Really enjoyed them. So I'm Eric. I work in an arts project setup within the NHS based in Northumberland, hence the accent. Our team work with occupational therapy and will provide arts and crafts sessions throughout each week for patients who are receiving clinical treatment along the care pathway and who have come into contact with mental health service. I've worked here for 20 years now, and I've been fortunate to have worked alongside with many artists who brought a wide variety of art disciplines, including working with a freelance animator on Bad Robot. Over the years, we've worked with musicians, drama teachers, and also creative writing with our education team here as well. In our arts and crafts sessions, we set up an animation project with a group of patients, and it began by just basically brainstorming ideas, which eventually led to the final cut of Bad Robot. We got involved with the Curran Trust back in 2012, and we entered Bad Robot into their annual competition, and we were amazed to have it screened at the exhibition in South Bank Centre in London, and again to celebrate it years later in this film festival. So we've carried on with contact with the Koestler Arts ever since, and our patients here have received a lot of top awards, which I believe has real value and meaning when it comes to aiding mental health and well-being. And I'm on overtime. I'm still at work. I don't know how many of you are still at work. So but anyway, that's about it really. Some of the lads learnt the technical side of things, like using the camera and the laptop, and setting up the whole scene on the large tables just out there. But yeah, it all came together nicely.
That's great. Thanks, Eric. So, this was made by the group effort, wasn't it? I think, Eric. So it was James, Paul, Darren, and Tim that created it, right?
Yeah. Tim was our musician.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Still works with us.
Yeah.
And he put the sound over the top of it by using handheld instruments and a keyboard.
Right.
So the lads got involved with working with the musical handheld instruments.
Right.
As well.
Great. Okay. So I'm going to click on the link that Lucy's very helpfully provided in a private link here, and we'll get to play it. And then after that, please feel free to comment and ask any questions via the Zoom chat to Eric. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. I know it makes me smile every time I watch it. I just wonder if anyone's got any kind of comments or questions to Eric. I don't know, Eric, can you just talk a little bit about the story, I guess, or can you tell us a little bit about that, or what the guys are thinking when they created the piece?
I think it was just a combination of ideas derived from the brainstorming. I mean, a lot of them like sci-fi and robot sort of things, and we had a look around the room, and there was always sort of materials like shiny foil lying around and face masks, and we sort of just gathered the found objects from around my department here and put it all together.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. I mean, we've got some really nice comments on the chat. I think Rob's saying great animation, wit and humor too. Emma saying looks really professional, very much a boys' video. I think David says great soundtrack, very throbbing. Okay, great music, use of voices, love the humor of the little dog. And someone also said that they remember seeing Bad Robot back in the day. Cool. On a big screen in a dark room. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it being projected on the back wall in the exhibition at the back, so it was big screen.
Right.
big project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think someone there saying, thanks, Eric. Interesting to hear the backstory to Bad Robot. Okay. So any other comments, questions? I'll look on here. Really kind of helpful comments. Really interesting. Loved it. Actually, what sort of gear have you actually got actually to help the patients make the work, Eric?
Well, I suppose we have a large library here in the Arts Project, and all different types of subjects, including sort of manga art and I guess with some robotic characters in as well as you know,
Sure. Yeah.
book from New York City, and probably just like a combination of those resources brought together. Well, the technical the technical side is just a laptop with Stop Motion Pro and a still camera.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions here actually, Eric. So let me just let's go back up again. So Zara, she's asking, how did they find working together? I think the guys working together, how did they find it?
Well, they all knew each other through living in this hospital.
Right.
So there was a couple of them from the same ward. So the dynamics were really good as well. They were all learning from each other, but they did know each other.
Okay, right. Okay. And from James, how big were the models that they used?
How big are the models?
Yeah, how big are the models? Yeah.
Well, I'd say that the buildings are about, you know, crisp packet sized boxes to shoebox sizes. And the figures were, you know, those figurines that you can get for drawing skills to learn drawing skills, dolls.
Yeah.
So I'd say about 7 inches for them, and the robot was crisp packet box size and full size face mask.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So comment from Nick, all these films and music show how imagination is not constrained even when people are in hospital, which I think is very true. And I think that the work today have illustrated that. So I think Indu's asking a question. So did they make any more videos together, guys?
Well, it's a long process, animation, and we have like a sort of a cyclical sort of group animation project. So those lads would have moved on.
Okay, right. Okay.
I mean, they have moved on. So, but we're still continuing with you know new patients with new projects as well.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. So just checking the time where we are. I think in terms of kind of questions, that's all we've got at the moment. I don't know whether Fiona, if you want to kind of come in or not. I mean, as I said before, there's something here about Koestler mentioning some of the artists after the awards. Some of those have gone on to have amazing careers. Fiona, if you can just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Koestler runs a mentoring program in basically entrants who've produced work or got really keen and started to build up a body of work with Koestler through entering the Koestler Awards over multiple years can apply for mentoring. And we take it's a small cohort of our entrants every year that go through the mentoring. And it's mostly as someone resettles, they're matched with a professional in their local area. So certainly have a look on our website, because if any of the audience are working with people who might be eligible, it's definitely a really positive thing for people to be able to keep their work going. It usually after, but once they've returned into the community. And I think what's really important for me to point out as well is that the professional, they're a volunteer for us. The volunteer mentor and the mentee will set goals for that mentoring relationship. They may be something like working professionally, applying for a job. They may be applying for college or university, or getting a qualification by the end of the period, or starting that journey. But absolutely equally and just as importantly, it might be that the mentors helping the mentee access local provision that's already there, and it's about having that confidence and that kind of way into those things. So we do advertise in normal times, so not during the coronavirus at the moment, but we do advertise for volunteer mentors, and we do call outs to our awards entrants to see if they'd like to take part in mentoring. So yeah, the mentoring's a massive encouragement. I think most entrants benefit from entering the awards and then receiving feedback, whether it's from volunteers who come to the Cresswell building and write it, or from the judge that judged the awards, or even if they're very lucky, from visitors to exhibitions, or hopefully from this kind of event today as well. It's really nice to be able to get some of these animations out there again, and also in a different way than just live at an exhibition.
Sure. So I think there's a question here from Rachel, which I think probably one for yourself actually, Fiona, which is how can you get involved yourself, being a musician, songwriter, etc.? Is there training? I'm guessing that's about the mentoring, or I'm thinking.
I think that must be about mentoring. Yeah, there is training for the mentoring program. So if you sign up for probably the best thing, especially at the moment, because a lot of our programs are a little bit disrupted, like everyone else's.
Indeed, yeah.
To say the least. So sign up for our newsletter, because then you would know when we are actually able to accept applications from people to become a mentor. People who get through that process, then they do receive training on how to have a good mentoring and successful mentoring relationship. Usually that lasts about a year. And some of our mentors have actually been with us for several years and have mentored several people over the years. So yeah, the best thing is to keep an eye out for when the opportunity is next advertised. We look for certain areas sometimes. Sometimes there's art forms that we have people waiting for mentoring in, and therefore that's the category that we're looking for the most. But it does seem it's very worthwhile, and it's got a lot of brilliant participants who've been through it in the years, mentors and mentees.
So I think there's a question here from Lynn, who says, I'm an ex-prison nurse at Women's Scrubs. Is there still a permanent Koestler exhibition there?
I think I know what I think you might be referring to. We do have artwork installed inside Wormwood Scrubs, inside one of the kind of corridors where we know that prisoners are going past all the time, mostly really to try and inspire people in Wormwood Scrubs to take part in the Koestler Awards, because we are based right outside Wormwood Scrubs prison, and we want to make sure that there's some sort of really good kind of advertisement for us. So at the moment we actually have a small range of paintings and drawings on display with some posters inviting people to take part in the Cresswell Awards just in that prison, as they're our neighbours. And then we do the public exhibitions, South Bank Centre. We're just working through our kind of plans for how this year will get through at the moment. And absolutely, we have regional exhibitions coming up in England at the beginning of 2021. And we're working towards them all, because this is a year that has been, obviously things in prisons are very, very difficult. It's really hard for people to get their work to us, to make their work, to be inspired to make their work. And so of all years, this is the year that we're really trying to be as flexible as we can and do everything we can to get that work seen, especially this year. It's more important than ever, I think.
Sure. Can I just ask, so in terms of the other thing that is possible is that you can, in fact, of course, purchase works of art, right? Am I right?
Yep. So Koestler can sell visual artwork entered into the Koestler Awards if the entrant and also the authorised member of staff signing their form off, if they give permission. Most of the sales are done. We wouldn't really be selling an animation, obviously. We'd be selling drawings, fine art, ceramics, mostly on our website. We usually run a pop-up shop at the South Bank Centre every year, and also at other exhibitions. But this year, I think a lot of the work from the 2020 awards in the autumn, once we've had time, will probably be on our website for sale as much as we can, because selling work, we know it's the money that the work sell for is relatively modest, but the impact of the sale of that validation is huge for our entrance. So this year is going to be a struggle, I think, to be able to sell the work without that pop-up shop, but we're going to try our best. So yeah, we do have work on our shop at the moment, so have a look, and there'll be more in the autumn when we've got the 2020 work on there.
Yeah, sure. So I think, in fact, I think perhaps might have been one of your colleagues may have put up. You can sign up to the Koestler newsletter here in the chat, which is really helpful, and also I guess you can go to the website to view whatever artworks are available there. And I've seen artworks on the walls of probation offices in the past, so they certainly do get purchased and do get out there. And also someone's saying that there are sets of postcards are a great way to take a piece home with you of the artwork as well. So there are postcards you can also purchase as well. Yeah. Yes,
I'm not sure if the postcards are online at the moment, but yeah, at every London show, every UK show in the South Bank, we produce. We can only produce a small amount, but we produce postcards that people can take away for £1. And yeah, it's a brilliant memento. And we always send lots of those postcards for free to the people who created the works as well. So yeah, that is definitely one way. We're also selling limited edition prints at the moment on our website. So yeah, okay. there's lots of different ways that you can kind of purchase work and support entrance in through making those purchases.
That's great. Okay, so I think there's a question from Lynn, who's obviously a big fan. Can you do the fingerprint T-shirt again?
Oh yeah, I think I know what she means. I'll look into it. I think it was a mug perhaps, but yes, absolutely, maybe.
Okay, all right. I mean, someone's posted that they bought the 2019 postcards at the South Bank and took them back to the prison to prove to the the people producing the work that their artwork was being displayed. I think, which is obviously, really important actually. And I think interestingly, going back to the research that we did around the Koestler Arts, one of the other things that seemed to emerge from the interviews we did with prisoners was just that I think the different prisoners working on works for Koestler were working either collectively on a kind of joint piece of work or individually, but all of them almost grew their own little micro community of people involved in creating that artwork, which I think they felt very rewarding and that was very supportive, and also kind of gave them a different outlet, and there were things about improving their relationships with each other, with other inmates, with the prison staff, and of course actually it's really important to recognize that actually in terms of the artwork, it does rely on prison staff, education people, whoever, and people like Jonathan and Eric to kind of, I guess, help patients or prisoners make that work available, because there has to be a conduit to kind of get it out of the prison into the world. So it's great that those people are also involved. There's a comment from Lorraine. Very many thanks. Good to see such creativity and support for it within the hospitals, and from Koestler. So I'm kind of we're getting towards the end of our kind of mini festival. So I'm going to kind of draw it to a close. Just to say thanks everyone for participating. Thanks to Eric, Jonathan, and Fiona for your input. Thanks to the artists who created the work, and hopefully we can get some messages back to them through the survey work. And perhaps a final word really from Rachel Ido, saying that I bought a piece of the South Bank last year. It brings me joy every day. So it's a really nice thing to hear.
It's really nice. Thank you.
So
Kevin, can I just say I've put the link to the recent MMU and Koestler research in the chat somewhere in amongst all those brilliant comments.
I think I saw it earlier on.
And I think it does solidify so much that I know that Eric and Jonathan know from their work, and what we were talking about some of those group entries, especially Bad Robot. I can just imagine that group, someone's working on the music and the imagery and putting it together. So how the arts, helping to prove the benefit that the arts are making helping make things in the criminal justice system better in hospitals and prisons, and even in community settings as well to some extent. So yeah, so have a look at the research. It's very interesting, fascinating.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I think Lucy, I think you're going to help try and download the group chat so we can just keep that. I think so. If you can do that, that'd be great. As everyone else, thanks very much for joining. It's good to kind of see you virtually, I think, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay.
You too. Thank you very much. Been great chatting. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Hello. Stay safe.
Thank you.